Alrighty, here's a video update on my Cushman Suzuki project. The engine is a 300 Suzuki out of a LT 300 quad runner. I believe it's an 87, 88 vintage. It is somewhat mounted, welded, mocked up, as you can see. This does have a swing arm rear suspension, so everything has to be mounted to the swing arm assembly itself. I used a 1-inch go-kart rear axle, which I will add a third center bearing support. I am going to be using a Honda TRX 400 disc brake caliper and rotor because it has a built-in cable parking brake. The axle hubs are off of a Wheelhorse 312-8. The rear wheels are from a Kubota, as you can see by the orange color. These are 25-inch tall Dirt Devil tires. I do have a matching front set. The engine does fit perfectly. I do have the center console that belongs in there, where I am using the Suzuki wiring harness. I put the Suzuki ignition key in there. I'm trying to use as much of the Suzuki components as I possibly can. And we'll back out a little bit. Everything's a bit of a mess right now because I am in the middle of working on this thing again. So I'll give you a little better view of what's going on here. This is the Suzuki LT 300 front suspension, which I have been glass beading and repainting everything, cleaning up, greasing everything before I start to figure out what I have to do to attach this thing and make a subframe for it. Here's a better overview of what's going on here. And as you can see, that's my snap-on welder. There's my old parts washer. My Cyclone glass bead cabinet. Of course, the air conditioner, which is a very big plus. And my big-ass $50,000 worth of snap-on tools toolbox. That is my Murray that I picked up for free. That is going to be up for sale shortly, which is on my handy airlift table. Another thing, I cannot say how much of a lifesaver that thing has been and how much easier it makes my life working on machines, whether it's a lawnmower, a snowblower, a tractor, golf cart, ATV, whatever fits on there, you know, is just great. I have an old vintage Champion spark plug cabinet. You know, things are kind of a mess right now. I'm trying to get a little better organized. You know, here's the pegboard situation behind the bench. Like I said, everything is kind of in the middle of being rearranged right now. Filing cabinets are another big plus to use for storage. And this is the back room, which is, again, a big mess, but it's a work in progress, so... But this is kind of the other side. You can see the tires for the front that belong on this thing. And hopefully soon I will have this thing ready to drive. I've got quite a ways to go, but it takes time and it takes money. And I'm trying to do this on a very limited budget right now. Like I said, I have more work to do on the mounts, but what I did was I basically used the original subframe, which might be a little hard to see from the Suzuki. I cut as much of it down as I possibly could, and I welded it to the swing arm on the Cushman, which I think you can see the swing arm mounts right there and there. This originally had hydraulic rear brakes, so I should be okay with that. The Suzuki does have drum brakes for the front, which I may or may not hook up, but we'll see. So yeah, here's the gigantic fuel tank, which I'm guessing is about 5 gallons. I do have a battery box that I'm going to build a framework for and put the battery in here. I have a fuse panel for it that's going to go somewhere back here. This has the reverse lever, which I'm trying to figure out as far as how I'm going to do that with the original dash cluster, which is the original console, I should say, which is right here. And this thing only had a forward and reverse originally, so now it will be 5 speeds forward, 1 speed reverse, and we'll see. You know, progress is progress. I still have to finish doing something with this floor and getting everything inside painted up. I really didn't like the way this came out, so I'm probably going to sand that down and start all over. I may use bed liner, I may not. I do have a brand new rubber bed mat that was for a Ford truck that I picked up cheap, and my intentions are to cut it out to the dimensions of the original rubber mat, which is basically as hard as a rock right now. So, that being said, it should be pretty cool. This is as high as it's going to sit right now. I have it leveled out and on jack stands, as you can see, and that ought to be pretty high. The roof does stick up quite a bit, as you can see. It just clears the roof of my garage. I did use some spray-on bed liner on that. I have to finish that as well, but I wanted to get it back on machine instead of tripping all over the place. But we're working on it, so stay tuned for future updates, and that's about it.